This video is about a modern feminist woman and another educated liberal white man who believes that a man can look at a woman like one looks at food on a menu before tasting it.
Okay, for example, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm avoid looking at yourself. Not that there's anything wrong with you, but as my religion teaches me that I should lower my gaze regardless, yeah? So, do you...
Well, I don't want you to look at me.
Okay, good. So now the question is the following. Why would you want me to look at you in that way? No, I'm just curious. Why would you want me...
I'm not afraid of human nature.
No, it's not about human nature. Why would you want me to look at you like you're a piece of meat?
Well, the thing is, first of all, this is a complicated thing. It's natural for men to be sexually attracted to women and to find women attractive.
Okay, but once you find it attractive, then that has an action. There has to be an action. You don't just go, okay, she's beautiful, I'll leave it at that. No, well, I want to seek her.
No, not necessarily. You don't want to necessarily act on every woman.
Okay, if it's a single man and he finds a woman attractive, he would want to be with her, right?
Well, men are allowed to look at women, women are allowed to look at men.
Okay, no.
You can look at the menu without tasting the food.
Sorry?
You can look at the menu without tasting the food.
Yeah,
why am I in the restaurant if I'm not going to get the food? I'm at the restaurant. I'm not going to come and look at the menu and say...
You're in society, so you move along and you meet people.
No, but sorry.
You meet attractive ladies like
I
that.
understand. But I'm going to say, I'm not going to go to a restaurant. But tell me why. Because I'm not going to go to a restaurant, open the menu and go,
You don't, every restaurant, you don't eat every restaurant you pass.
I think you have a right to your views.
I know. Okay, look.
Now, these same individuals consider it harassment when men do that. I mean, what is wrong with our society? You can't have your cake and eat it too. It's another example of how subjective moralism is causing double standards and destruction in society. Some liberals will say, oh, you can look at a woman as long as you don't stare or creep her out. Again, what does that even mean? Isn't it all subjective because who will decide when a man's look becomes a stare? After 4.9 seconds? When an ugly man looks at a woman, he is usually labeled as a creep, even though the poor guy is brainwashed by modern society to think it's normal as long as his intentions are good. On the other hand, an attractive man usually gets a pass just because he seems educated, decent, and appears to have good intentions because somehow liberal women can sense your intentions even if the good-looking guy is imagining scenarios with her like they do in corn videos. I mean, she should join the Marvel Avengers for her brilliant demonstration of her superpower. Additionally, any modern woman can accuse a man of being a harasser, even if the poor guy didn't intentionally look at her, as long as she feels that way, while the other guy gets away with creeping her out because it didn't feel bad. And how can I forget to add that a liberal woman can creep out a man as much as she wants, and our modern society doesn't have an issue with it. That's why our dumb society needs Islam, which comes from your Lord, a law that doesn't submit to the hypocrisy of the people and provides perfect guidance for humanity. Indeed, it's the only way to be saved from the intense fire whose fuel is men and stones. By the way, I haven't heard any feminists speaking against this ayat. My brothers and sisters, let's be honest here. We don't buy this crap. In Islam, it's very simple. Lower your gaze, whether you're a man or a woman, and you can only interact with the opposite gender when there's a necessity, except for your certain close family members and your wife, or should I say wives. Unless you unintentionally look at each other, there's no blame on you as long as you are avoiding it. Plus, our sense of empathy, which Allah has instilled in our hearts, tells us that we don't want our spouses to be objectified like items on a menu, as these two are trying to normalize. So why aren't we following the same principle? Or have we become like hypocrites, whose hearts have become hard as stones? Also, intentionally staring or looking at the opposite gender is indeed shameless and hypocritical. And if you're a modern liberal who thinks that a woman or man can freely stare at the opposite gender, then you should also accept it when someone stares at you or your spouse and not cry and call it harassment, because you are the one who is promoting this behavior. Furthermore, this society hasn't even determined the criteria for what someone can look at in a person and what they can't. Is it just the face? If yes, then why? Why are you sexualizing the rest of the female body? Not my argument, but you got it right, it's the feminists. This is why a society without God is lost and is leading people nowhere but into hell. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time, if Allah wills. Until then, stay connected with the content that brings you closer to Allah And stay away from content that drags you away from his remembrance, because indeed you will die the way you lived.
Before leaving, make sure to subscribe, share your comments, and turn on notifications for the latest videos.